Hello, monsters, and welcome to the Horror Files. I am your host, Dead Alive Dana, and on this podcast, I dive into a particular horror movie each episode, providing insights and reviews as well as the latest in horror movie news. And for this episode, we make a new best friend, one that can play the drums, dress like John Hammond from Jurassic Park, rip off heads, and oh yeah, doesn't like hunky boys. Or does he? That's right, monsters. I will be talking about the horror sci-fi comedy Psycho Goreman from 2020.
Many moons ago, a nameless evil was imprisoned in a place far beyond reach.
Hurry up!
If he were ever to be released, it would spell certain doom for all existence.
Is that fear I smell? Your planet will be torn to pieces, and I will
Mimi,
take your angry screams as I rip.
Is this yours?
Oh.
B? Oh my god.
The gem of Paraxidike. Whoever wields it is able to command me.
Go over there and wait for us to come back in the morning.
You will suffer an eternity for this.
Bye! Mom, Dad, I want you to meet Psycho Goreman, or PG for short.
I will bathe in your blood.
Don't worry.
Be worried.
He's gonna kill everybody. Not unless I tell him to.
What did you three maniacs get up to?
This is getting a little weird.
This sick game must come to an end. She will enslave the galaxy into endless servitude. Kill him!
Cool.
The ultimate evil has awoken.
There's a new god in town, and his name? Psycho Goreman. It was nice meeting you.
It would be nicer if you were dead.
Alright, bye.
So IMDb describes the plot for Psycho Goreman as follows. After unearthing a gem that controls an evil monster looking to destroy the universe, a young girl and her brother use it to make him do their bidding. The film was written and directed by Steve Kazansky and stars Nita, Josie Hanna, Owen Meyer, Matthew Nienaber, and famous movie celebrity Rich Evans, who some of you may know from Red Letter Media on YouTube. So he's not recognizable, but he is in there. And I'll go into a little bit more of that later on. So before we get into the film, just a couple of little things. The full Psycho Goreman makeup took many hours to apply, often requiring Matthew Nienaber to be the first person to arrive for shooting and the last to leave. And he actually spent so much time in the costume that the crew failed to recognize him without it. And like I said in my intro, the human outfit that Psycho Goreman wears in the movie is the exact same outfit that Sam Neill wears in Jurassic Park, which I just think was hilarious. So let's dive into it. Please be advised there will be spoilers. So siblings Mimi and Luke discover a strange glowing gem while digging in their garden, and that night an alien monster emerges from the hole. The monster enters a old shoe factory and brutally kills a group of thieves hiding out there. The next day, Mimi and Luke follow a trail to the shoe factory and discover the monster, who identifies himself as Archduke of Nightmares, a deadly alien warrior imprisoned on Earth after attempting to destroy the galaxy in a rampage. Before he can kill them, he realizes, though, that Mimi has the gem, which allows her to command him. And Mimi dubs the alien Psycho Goreman, or PG for short, and begins commanding PG around despite her brother Luke's concerns.
Wait, were we supposed to feed him?
You alive, buddy? Nice try. Anyways, Goreman, or PG for short.
Silence!
Okay. We brought you some reading material, PG. And a TV to watch. Did you sleep okay? I'm sorry we didn't bring any pornos.
Petty displays of wealth. How can your short lifespans allow such narcissism?
Yeah, but look at all the hunky boys.
I do not care for hunky boys. Or do I?
So a group of aliens called the Planetary Alliance discover PG has escaped imprisonment and send the warrior Pandora to Earth in the form of a human woman to kill him. Now PG tells the children he was a slave to the Templars, Pandora's religious order, on his home planet Gygax until he discovered the gem, which bonded with him, giving him immense power. And he assembled an army called the Paladins Obsidian and battled the Templars and began a rampage across the galaxy until the Planetary Alliance defeated him and imprisoned him on Earth.
That is a tale bathed in the blood of 1,000,000 dead memories. I was born in a time before time, on the planet Gygax, a world light years from your own. My entire existence was servitude, under the rule of beings that claimed to serve a higher power that governed over us all. These entities, known as the Templars, had no more divine purpose than the dirt I excavated to help build their churches, but still, they were able to crush the people of Gygax beneath their gilded heels. The Templars preached to us their holy scriptures declaring their rightful ownership of Gygax. To them, we were nothing more than parasites trespassing on hallowed ground.
That kid was weird.
But then, one day, everything changed. But I didn't stop there. It was clear that my thirst for death would only be satiated if I snuffed out all light in the universe. But I was overthrown and imprisoned by the Templars and their Planetary Alliance. They stole the gem, and with it, my power. To this day, I do not understand how such weak-minded insects could defeat the greatest power in the galaxy.
So when the children leave, PG broadcasts a call for help to the Paladins Obsidian. Mimi and Luke's parents, Susan and Greg, see PG, and Mimi introduces him to them, showing how she can control him. Mimi forces PG to accompany the family on activities, and he becomes a reluctant friend to the family. So while out with PG, the group is approached by 2 police officers who attack PG. He mutilates one of them into a deformed slave while the other officer escapes. Pandora arrives at the police station and interrogates the officer that escaped PG for information. And in the woods, the Paladins Obsidian arrive in front of the group. PG orders them to kill Mimi and Luke, only for the Paladins to reveal that they are now allied with the Templars.
Something's coming.
What, you got a dump?
Welcome back to the land of the living, Master.
Spare me the theatrics, Darkscream. What took you so long?
We came as soon as we could, my lord. Let me be the first to say that we're all so very glad to see that you're alive.
PG, are these silly little guys your friends? Why don't you introduce us?
You don't look very friendly.
Ah, yes. Paladins. This is Mimi. And her brother.
It's Luke. You should know my name by now.
They are the humans responsible for freeing me.
Oh, that's right. You're welcome.
Mimi has the gem of Paraxidike. Don't worry, she doesn't know how to use it. You may kill them now.
You fool! Why would we do that?
Excuse me?
We like things the way they are now.
You must be joking.
Far from it, Master. We are quite content with running the 5th moon of Gygax ourselves, sharing the duties equally.
We take turns as the appointed leader, so everyone gets a fair chance.
As you can see, it is currently my turn.
Let me guess. You made a deal with those righteous idiots, the Templars.
In exchange for your imprisonment, they agreed to spare us any further inconveniences.
I put my trust in the worst the galaxy has to offer, and this is how you repay me? I should have known better. Except for you, Cassius 3000. I always knew I couldn't trust you.
Come on. We all knew this day was coming. So why don't you lay down and die like a good little boy?
Like a good little boy.
So PG is injured by them when Mimi keeps him from fighting back until he apologizes, but he kills them after being released. He then collapses from his injuries. PG comes to the dad Greg in a vision, demanding he collects him and the children from the woods.
Better than me, huh? You think you're friggin' better than me? Huh? Well, I have a BA in English. What have you done with your life? Huh? What have you done with your life? I ask you.
Find me or you all die!
What the frig? Where am I going?
The ravine near Highway 11 and Ryerson Avenue!
I don't know where that is.
Go south on Prescott Road until you reach the second set of lights! Go!
So Greg does so finally, and they drive back to the house where Pandora is waiting with Susan. Now, Susan suggests they hand over PG to Pandora, and Luke agrees. But Greg sides with Mimi and drives away with PG hiding in the shoe factory. Pandora reveals her true form before transforming Susan into an armored warrior to help take down PG. PG states giving him the gem is the only way to heal him, and Mimi agrees on the promise that he will spare her and her family in his crusade against the galaxy, but realizes that Luke has stolen the gem. So Pandora, Susan, and Luke arrive and battle Mimi, Greg, and PG. Luke convinces Mimi that the power of the gem and PG have corrupted her. But before Pandora can kill PG, he challenges her to a battle of Mimi's choosing. And she chooses Crazy Ball, a game she and Luke made up with extremely complex rules. Mimi's team wins, but Pandora moves in to attack Mimi and PG anyway. Susan uses her powers to save Mimi, but is reverted to her human form by Pandora. Luke and Mimi reconcile and hand the gem to PG, healing him. And PG defeats Pandora and devours her, giving her a warrior's death, as he likes to call it. Basically, a warrior's death is actually like the worst way to go. Excuse me. And so PG now he returns the now powerless gem to Mimi, stating that after witnessing the family's affection for each other, he is now powered by love. He will use that love to destroy the galaxy, but promises to spare the family. And the family bids farewell to PG and watches as he begins to destroy their town. The news shows PG in giant form, basically devastating the Earth. And in deep space, the Planetary Alliance debates killing themselves before he can reach them. And that is Psycho Goreman. Just reading back this summary, it's like, I'm like, am I really reading this? Like, it's a little bit surreal. So writer-director Stephen Kozansky actually came up with the film's idea when he watched Rawhead Rex. He hated that film, but he thought, what if Rawhead Rex met E.T.? He was also influenced by Masters of the Universe, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, which you definitely see, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from the early 1990s. Ugh. I also want to mention here real quick that the narrator for this film is none other than late Canadian actor Kenneth Welsh, who was Wyndham Earle in the Twin Peaks series, and he also had a huge movie and TV career. He was in things like Heartburn, Crocodile Dundee 2, The Freshman, which I love, Legends of the Fall, Miracle, The Day After Tomorrow, The Aviator, and Stephen Kozansky's other sci-fi horror film, The Void, which is fantastic. So Psycho Goreman was initially scheduled to premiere at the South by Southwest Film Festival in March of 2020, prior to the festival's cancellation due to the COVID-19 pandemic. It screened later that year as part of Beyond Fest on October 7th, 2020, and also screened as part of the Sydney's Film Festival and Australia's Monster Fest. The film's distribution rights were acquired by RLJE Films and Shudder, and it was simultaneously released in theaters and on video on demand on January 22nd, 2021. A limited edition DVD Blu-ray was released on March 16th, 2021. Barry Hertz of the Globe and Mail praised the film, writing that, quote, if you happen to be operating on Kostansky's very particular and peculiar wavelength, this movie is an absolute riot. Working with few resources, the director creates a wildly colorful, surprisingly epic universe full of alien landscapes, energetic set pieces, and a fantastical creature design that strikes just the right balance between inventive and derivative. Owen Gleiberman, in his review of the film for Variety, concluded that, quote, as satire, Psycho Goreman is no Planet Terror, but it's a droll enough schlock in quote marks diversion. And part of its appeal is just how damn cheap it is. In the Omnitech era, it's fun to see a filmmaker build an FX fantasy out of scraps from the ground up. Bloody Disgusting's Megan Navarro wrote that, quote, we may not care about the human protagonist by the time the end credits roll and the 90s style end credit rap kicks in, but Psycho Goreman does leave you hoping to see more of PG and his continued quest for domination of the cosmos. Richard Whitaker of the Austin Chronicle gave the film a score of 3 out of 5 stars, writing that it, quote, channels Saturday mornings loaded with Power Ranger reruns, just with the added realization that the creatures were super cool. Chris Aikens of Nightmare on Film Street praised the film, saying that it was, quote, a vehicle for over-the-top violence. Mary Beth McAndrews of Pace called the film, quote, a necessary explosion of ridiculous fun in a time when it's needed most. The extreme tonal shifts from hard sci-fi to family comedy will be weird for some, but Kostansky's never hides what this film is. Ridiculous. Conversely, Simon Abrams of RogerEbert.com gave the film 1.5 stars out of 4, writing that it, quote, isn't clever or lively enough to be more than fitfully fun, especially given how much time is spent mocking generic but painstakingly recreated plot contrivances. Slant Magazine's Pat Brown gave it 2 out of 4 stars, calling it a, quote, tongue-in-cheek gore fest, but also, quote, somewhat empty film. Chainsaw Man author Tatsuki Fujimoto called the film, quote, the most interesting movie I've seen this year in 2021 and made fan art for it. In 2023, Barry Hertz of the Globe and Mail named the film as one of the 23 best Canadian comedy films ever made. The movie has a Metacritic score of 67, a Rotten Tomatoes score of 92%, and a Letterboxd rating of 3.4 out of 5. My personal rating for this, probably I'd go 7.5 to an 8 on this one. It's a really fun film. I really, really, really enjoyed it. The way that there's so many great homages, references, without being referencey. If you catch my drift. You know, when he goes into the old shoe factory and just like wrecks the men in there, the way he kind of rips into them feels very reminiscent of Hellraiser. Even the way he carries himself, and it does feel like, if Elliot and his brother and their friends like walked in and had control over the Cenobites. Like, that's what kind of the Psycho Goreman feels like. The film has a lot of heart in its own way, but at the same time, it doesn't go too much into that and just really leans into pure absurdity. It's violent on a cartoonish way and also not. And the implications of what these children are witnessing and walking away unfazed by is kind of wild. On top of that, the lore that was kind of built into this film was truly fascinating. And it was kind of the stuff that I wasn't really expecting. The creature design work alone from Steven Kozansky is wonderful. I mean, in scenes where the creatures face off against each other, I felt like I was in like an old school episode of Power Rangers, but as if it was like geared more towards adults. And the comedy in this film works really well because you have PG's energy, which is very intense and serious and ooh, and I have come here to do, and then you, and then like, I'm gonna kill everybody and blah 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 and all that, and then you have Mimi, kind of counterbalancing that with her like fun, silly, like frig off attitude is just great. And I know there's probably a lot of people who would find Mimi annoying, but you know what? I loved her. Yes, she is extra. She is a psychopath, but you know what she has that I really like? It's unabashed self-confidence. She knows herself completely. And even when she has that moment with her brother and she says, well, I'm not going to say it, and then proceeds to tap out that she's sorry, you know, for all that she's done, is kind of brilliant because she doesn't compromise, even when she's in the wrong. Now, she did at least communicate that she was sorry to him, even if she doesn't say it. But what she didn't do is compromise who she is in doing it. And although she does some pretty bad stuff in this film, among them not having Alistair turn back into a human, I loved Alistair because he just was like seeing a giant brain with googly eyes, just kind of like running around, like just kind of hanging out with everybody, is hilarious. It's just such a fun visual. It's just so great. But, you know, even though she didn't like have him turn back into a human, she is just absolutely fierce and I love her. And, you know, we get to see all these like little boys in movies like breaking the rules and being wild and mischievous and crazy. And I think it's kind of refreshing to see a girl be able to do it as well, instead of like being a goody-goody or a nerd or a snob. I love Mimi because Mimi is punk rock, and like she says in the song, she is the heckin' best. This movie is available to watch on AMC Plus, Shudder, YouTube, Sling TV, the Roku channel, Amazon Prime, Philo. I still don't know how to pronounce this. Philo or Philo? I don't know. Who cares? Google Play, Fandango at Home, Apple TV, and Redbox. And that was Psycho Goreman. And now let's head over to the Horror Files News Corner. So Front Rags is celebrating the 40th anniversary of Day of the Dead with apparel from the George A. Romero Zombie Classic. The line includes 5 t-shirts designed by Abrar Jamal, Paul Shipper, and Kyle Crawford, plus a pair of bub socks featuring artwork by Matthew Skiff. Super soft 4.5 ounce, 100% pre-shrunk ring spun cotton tees are $33, while the custom knit crew socks are $13. In the 1985 film, a small group of scientists and soldiers have taken refuge in an underground missile silo where they struggle to control the flesh-eating horror that walks the earth above. But will the final battle for the future of the human race be fought among the living, or have they forever unleashed the hunger of the dead? I love that movie. Sadly, the most famous movie alligator of all time has left us this week, with CBS News reporting that Morris, the 80-plus-year-old star of the 1980 horror film Alligator, has passed away. Morris passed away at his longtime home, the Colorado Gator Farm. His exact age wasn't known, but the farm estimates that he was somewhere between 80 and 100 years old. Morris came to Hollywood in 1975 and appeared in many movies and shows through to 2006, when he retired from show business and settled down at the Colorado Gator Farm. In addition to playing the killer alligator in both Alligator and the 1991 sequel, Alligator 2, The Mutation, Morris also memorably appeared in Happy Gilmore, with his impressive resume also including Interview with the Vampire, Blues Brothers 2000, Eraser, and Dr. Dolittle 2. The Gator Farm's Jay Young said in a video posted to Facebook, quote, "He started acting strange a week ago. He wasn't looking at us and wasn't taking food. I know it's strange to people that we get so attached to an alligator. To all our animals, we love our cats and dogs too. It's the worst part of what we do, losing animals. He had a happy time here and he died of old age." Young notes in a second Facebook video, quote, "We have decided to get Morris taxidermied so that he continued to scare children for years to come. It's what he would have wanted." So, R.I.P. Morris, you were an absolute legend. It was announced almost exactly 1 year ago that visionary director Panos Cosmatos, who did Mandy, had enlisted Kristen Stewart and Oscar Isaac to star in his new movie, Flesh of the Gods. And Deadline reported this week that Elizabeth Olsen has also now joined the cast. Andrew Kevin Walker, who did Seven and The Killer, wrote the screenplay for Flesh of the Gods, an 80s set vampire movie set in a, quote, "glamorous, surrealistic world of hedonism, thrills, and violence." Deadline detailed, quote, "Oscar Isaac and Kristen Stewart will portray Raoul and Alex, a married couple in glittering 80s LA who descend each evening from their luxury skyscraper condo and head into an electric nighttime realm. When they cross paths with the mysterious and enigmatic Nameless, played by Elizabeth Olsen, and her hard-partying cabal, Raoul and Alex are seduced into a glamorous, surrealistic world of hedonism, thrills, and violence. Like Los Angeles itself, Flesh of the Gods inhabits a liminal realm between fantasy and nightmare, said Cosmatos in a recent statement. Quote, "Both propulsive and hypnotic, Flesh will take you on a hot rod joyride deep into the glittering heart of hell." Producer Adam McKay added, quote, "This director, this writer, these incredible actors, vampires, choice 80s punk, style and attitude for miles, that's the film we're bringing you today. We think it's wildly commercial and wildly artful. Our ambitions are to make a movie that ripples through popular culture, fashion, music, and film. Can you tell how excited I am?" Sounds interesting. It also sounds a little bit like The Hunger. So I'm kind of curious to see how they do this. But I do love like 80s retro fantasy. So yeah. After striking box office gold together with both Longlegs and The Monkey, Neon and Osgood Perkins will be staying in business together with Perkins' new horror movie Keeper later this year. And the relationship doesn't end there. Variety reports this week that Neon and Perkins are both making the smart decision to continue working together in the years to come. In addition to launching his own production banner titled Phobos alongside Chris Ferguson, Perkins has also signed a first look deal with Neon. What does that mean? Well, Variety details the deal as follows, quote, "Perkins and Ferguson will jointly produce upcoming projects with Neon serving as the home for films that Perkins writes and directs, as well as those he produces for other filmmakers." Variety also noted in the report, quote, "Neon will release the films theatrically in the U.S. and represent the international sales rights. The outlet notes Perkins will continue to work with producer Brian Cavanaugh. There's only one Osgood Perkins, fearless, deeply imaginative, relentlessly funny, and operating on a frequency that's all his own, said Neon CEO Tom Quinn. His work lingers with you, burrows into your brain as all great art does. With Neon as his creative home, Oz will continue to cook, pushing the boundaries of his ever-expanding cinematic universe. We're thrilled to be along for the ride with Phobos and Osgood Perkins. So first up is the aforementioned Keeper, which has been described as a, quote, dark trip from Osgood Perkins. Written by Nick Leppard, who did Dangerous Animals. The upcoming horror movie stars Tatiana Maslany, who was also in The Monkey, and Rossif Sutherland, who was in Possessor. Quote, Keeper follows a couple as they escape for a romantic anniversary weekend at a secluded cabin. When Malcolm suddenly returns to the city, Liz finds herself isolated and in the presence of an unspeakable evil that unveils the cabin's horrifying secrets. Following in the wake of Longlegs and the Monkey, Keeper will be Perkins' third movie with Neon. He also previously directed The Black Coat's Daughter, I Am the Pretty Thing That Lives in the House, and the art house fairy tale adaptation of Gretel and Hansel. And that's it for this week, you guys. Thank you so much for listening. You can find me on Letterboxd, Twitter, and Threads at DeadAliveDana. And if you have any questions, suggestions for future episodes or movies for me to talk about, you can email me at deadalivedana@gmail.com. And until next time, monsters, stay safe, and most importantly, stay spooky.